It's looking really, really cool. I like it. I'm happy. Good morning, guys. It's a new day. It's cold. It's like 18 degrees and it's freezing. Whew. I tried to drink my coffee this morning. That still didn't wake me up, but I still got to get some work done. If you guys haven't seen Jared's video, it's my twin brother. It's Jared Crocker. The link is down in the description. The goats had babies, and the goat grandma that had babies is my goat, and she's coming up here, and that's why I'm trying to get the shelter and the fencing up for my goats, is because I knew she was having babies. I was hoping she can hold out, but she had them before I can get them. So I bought all of this lumber and tin and stuff, and I got to build a goat shelter because I need to get them up here. So let's get this shelter built. All right, that could have been terrible. I dropped my camera and said a foul word. Luckily, it just hit the cap on there. So, all right, what I'm gonna do is, of course, I don't have a good workbench or nothing. Just gonna build out here in the woods like I do. Basically, this is gonna be, I got 4 of these 4x4 posts for my corners. This is gonna be the bottom. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna screw in from underneath, and this will be on the ground. Not technically straight on the ground, you'll see later, but this will be on the bottom. Rather than put it on the side here, I'm gonna put it on the bottom. It'll make sense later. All right, now I'm gonna do the same thing on that side. This is the back, and that's gonna be the front. So I took it down a couple inches from the front to the back, so it'll be a slant for the roof. And so if you're building one of these, just remember, you don't want a flat roof, you want a little bit at an angle. So I just dropped it like 3 inches, and it'll give enough just to let rain run off so I can do some water catchment. So we'll flip it over and do it again. And I did mark the boards. I marked those to be the back, these to be the front, so there was no confusion. If you're anything like me, you're ADD. You'll start doing one thing, thinking another, and you'll mess up. So I try to just label things, make it a little easier. Living out here definitely puts the woods and woodworking. All right, now we're gonna double this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll move on from there. Stack it right on top, build it right on top of the other one, because we don't have a workbench. All right, now we're gonna work on the top. And I marked the boards 10.5 inches in, and it should go right to the corner there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line the top of this board up with the top of the back side. So it's gonna stick slightly over this side, so when you put the roof, be nice and flush. I'm gonna do the same thing on that side. I marked it at 10.5 right there, and I put it to the top of this board. It's gonna stick slightly over here. That way it gives me 10.5 inches on each side as a hangover for the roof, and I can collect water and it won't drip on the sides. I actually meant 9.5, not 10.5, my bad. Now, since it's flush where it needs to be, we'll go ahead and screw it on. I already dropped my camera. Well, the camera fell over 3 times already, so hopefully my camera won't break. So I'm gonna throw in 2 more screws and do the same thing on the other side. All right, now this side's done. I'm gonna take this off. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, but you have to flip it over because this board's on the outside. I need it outside on the other. So technically, if it was the way it is now, it'd have to be on the bottom. So we'll flip it over and do the same thing. I won't show you, but I'll show you once it's done. All right, guys, so I just had it leaning against this tree right here, and I was moving this other one, and unfortunately, the wind's really strong today, and it fell down, and it just broke. it snapped this. It was already a little messed up. The board had like a real bad knot in it, but it snapped. So I'm gonna have to replace that board. It kind of is what it is, working out here in the woods, not having a shop, not having a workbench, nothing like that. Just move on. Oh well, it's just one board. I'll use it somewhere else and replace it. Just keep on, moving on, trucking on, yeah. I don't know. Just trying to stay in good spirits about this. All right, so I got them both on there, and the one replaced, look at that. Snap that board. This is what it is. I'll find use for that on another part of this build. If not, I'll probably be a little bit short on boards, but that'll be all right. So now that we have this, we're gonna build a rail right there on the bottom. So the bottom of this build is gonna be tin, like roofing tin. That way it won't rot or anything like that. It'll just be the tin. It'll kind of give it a different look. And if the animals kind of mess with it, they're not gonna chew on it, because goats chew on the stuff because they're weird. And especially if I ever get any other animals, stuff like that. So I'm gonna put tin, and hopefully it'll keep like coyotes and stuff like that from trying to like dig through. So I'm gonna go ahead and build that rail on both of these. All right, so I cut these rails. It's 70 inches because that's the inside width. It'll all make sense later why I did it that width. But the tin that I have is 25.5 inches tall. So I need to measure up 25.5 inches. Mark it. Same thing on this side. Mark it. Now I know whenever I put my rail in, I want it to be right there. So my tin will fit perfectly from here to here. So that's the bottom, and that's where the rail starts, and the tin will fit perfectly in between. So there are just many ways you could do this. You could drill holes through this side, put the screw all the way through to where it's, you know, a big old hole all the way through. My ideal situation would be pocket hole screws, and pocket hole jig you can do, and it would put 2 holes there. I don't have that jig with me, so what I'm gonna do is just kind of do it myself. So what you want to do is kind of, hopefully you can see this. So basically the screw is going to be something of this nature whenever it's done. It's going to go through and it's going to hold it in kind of at an angle through here. So what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to start your screw somewhere in this area where the screw head would end up. The hard part is you have to start drilling a hole at an angle. So what I do is I kind of start it normally like this, and once it's in there, then I kind of just bend it down, then get it going. And this is the mistake that always happens. It starts drilling out like that. So you got to make sure you get it in there pretty good before it bends. All right, now it's going to go through, and just make sure, because when it starts drilling in, it's going to pull the board up. So make sure you're holding it pretty good. I'm holding it with my knee, and just come in and screw it in. And that's basically what a pocket hole jig is going to do. So that screw is literally sitting in there just like that. So plenty holding this board in, plenty holding this board in, plus I'm going to put some more support so it really won't matter. So I'm going to do that again on the bottom and then on the other side. So I got this, of course that's the bottom. I got the rail on here, and it's 25.5 inches wide, and that's where the tin's going to go, but I want to break it up in 2 pieces. So I bought 10-foot 4x4s, and here's the extra cutoffs. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this 25.5 inches, and then we're gonna put it right here in the middle. And that's what I'm saying, it's gonna hold it up really, really good. But you wanna put this in before you put the walls up, because you're gonna wanna screw on the top and bottom to hold it in. So I'm gonna cut that and stick it in there. All right, we gotta do this again. All right, so now I got our board. What we gotta do now is find the middle. So if it's 70, let's try to do that math that I hated so much in high school. I believe it's going to be 35 inches. Dang it, boy. Right there. So right there in the middle is 35. And then we're gonna do the same thing right here. 35. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna line the middle of this board up right in the middle of that so we know we're good. And then we're gonna screw it in through the bottom and through the top. So then we gotta do that on the other side as well. But basically the tin, we're gonna have a piece right here and a piece right here. And it's gonna look real clean and slick when it's done. But we have to have something to have the tin screw into. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip a 2x4, and what we're gonna do is put it right here on the back side, the inside of the board, and we'll screw it in through the side. So we gotta do it here and over here, and then on the top and the bottom. So it's gonna look very, very clean, but it'll be, but it'll have a nice piece of wood that you can stick it on and screw it all the way around, and then we'll do the same thing on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip a 2x4 in half and then measure it up, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, guys, like everything in life, sometimes I get super, super lucky. Sometimes I got bad luck, but sometimes I get lucky. And check this out. Where the board broke, guess what? I was able to cut off literally right there, right before the break, 25.5. How awesome is that? Works out. So I'm gonna use this old table saw I've had for years. I mean, I've had this thing forever, and unfortunately, it sat out in the rain for a long time, and let's hope it still works. But if you're trying to split a 2x4, it's 1 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/4. Line it up, put it right in the middle where that board is. Make sure your blade just comes right over the top. Fingers crossed that this works. Just like always, safety first, guys. Don't do what I did. Get a push stick. I don't have the one that comes with this, but you want to push it with the stick through and not put your finger there. I'm dumb. Just the way it is. Safety third when it comes to my channel, but always, guys, safety first. Don't do what I do when it comes to this type of stuff. So now that I have it cut, let's go put it back on the wall. All right, so you got them cut. I'm gonna use the flat part that was cut, and we're gonna stick it right here, and we're gonna put it on the very bottom. So you have all this, so the tin is gonna sit in the middle of this. What you wanna do is you wanna make it flush in the bottom, and then we're gonna put screws through it like that, and then screw it in on this side. Make sure it's flush on the bottom. Now, when you put the tin in there, it has something to screw into. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side. And then once that's in there, then I gotta measure right here and do the same thing. So we're basically just building a frame to put the tin on there. All right, guys, as you can see, I framed out the inside of both, and then that one over there. So now I need to stand up the walls and connect both sides. All right, now I cut this board 77 inches long because it's 70 wide in the middle plus 3.5 and 3.5. So if I did my math correct, 77. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this board, and it's gonna go flush in the bottom. I'm gonna make sure it's squared up, and I'm gonna screw it in, and then I'm gonna lift the wall, and I'm gonna screw it to that side. it's heavy. I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my word. I feel like I'm in a comedy movie or something. Yeah, I used to watch Mr. Bean, the guy that always got himself in situations. I feel like that's my life. Alright, so now I gotta put this board on here, but of course it's gonna go down here, even with this rail. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to go ahead and get my screw started. That way I can just get it in pretty easy. Since it needs to go there, I'm gonna have to push out the bottom some. There you go. Now I gotta do the same thing on the bottom one. Guys, it started getting too hot. Had to take some layers off. I am not complaining though, because I am sick and tired of this cold weather. I came from South Texas to Oklahoma, and you talk about difference in temperature. All right. So I got that on. Now I got to put my brace here in the middle and the trim work like I did in the others. So I'll do that real quick and then show you when it's done instead of showing you again. All right, hopefully it's not too windy, but we got it framed up here and there. It's going to make the build a whole lot stronger. So now I need to move it over to some flat, more level ground. The only reason I built it right here is so I could put it against the tree, which, you know, that helped me so much. But I'm gonna put it over there, kind of level it out, and then continue working. All right, so I got it moved and kind of leveled out, but check this out how far off I had to lift it up, because this ground is not level anywhere out here. As you can tell, it's pretty plumb for this ground, but that high up off the ground. From the back you could tell a little more, about 6 inches or so on this side and about 3.5 inches, and I had to dig down in the front, and then over there is just kind of where it's at. It's just one of those things out here, nothing's level. And yes, I will replace these blocks of wood under there with concrete slabs and stuff. So, and then I'll put rock and stuff around the bottom. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm not worried about the air underneath once it's done. It's just to get it where it needs to be. So let's continue building. All right, now I cut these boards and I put a 2x4 up here at the top, and I'm going to go right here in line with this one all the way up, and then I'm going to screw it in on the inside here and right here. I'm at the toenail it in. All right, so I got all these up. It's more support, and now we're gonna work on the other side. All right, so I had a whole bunch of scrap wood, just the cut-offs, and they're all different lengths. And well, there were 2x4s, and I ripped them in half because I'm not trying to waste anything. It's kind of like if you're eating a taco and you're eating, and just going to town on them tacos because they're so good, and the stuff falls on the plate. You're not gonna just throw away all that stuff on the plate. You're gonna scrape that sucker into a tortilla and probably roll it up on your stomach like old Good Grub when he was out here making his tacos. You're gonna eat another taco and you're gonna use it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna utilize this spare scrap wood. So pretty much what we're gonna use all the scrap wood for is basically that. So they go on So we're gonna try to make it even with this, but on this side, because we're gonna put boards on this, and that's gonna be what we nail into or screw into. So we're gonna utilize these, and then all we'll do is cut the other scrap and fit from here to there. Knock all these in. We gotta go all the way around in all the corners. I think that's the biggest bummer of living off grid out here, middle of nowhere, is start talking about tacos, and I'm like, man, I could even go for like Taco Bell, Taco Bueno, a nice Mexican restaurant, anything. But I live in the woods. Dang it. All right, so as you can see, I got them in the corners, but it doesn't go all the way to the top. So all I'm gonna do is get this piece, stick it on top, and then I'm gonna measure to the top of here. And then I'll cut and screw it on there. Same thing here. All right, got it all the way up, all the way around the corners. So now I can start putting up the walls. All right, so what the game plan is, I got these fence planks, and I cut the top off, just a dog ear, cut it off. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make shingles. And the way I gotta do that is, I'm gonna use these extra pieces, and I'm gonna put back under here as spacers so I know how far it needs to go back. And I'm gonna cut a few more and put them on both sides. And then that way when I stack my boards, it'll be shingles and it come off, and then hopefully the water will hit here and just go straight off. That's my theory. That's what I'm trying to do. I think it'll look cool. Let's attempt it. But before I do that, I almost forgot. I bought some stain. I want this thing to look cool and give it a little more protection. So I got gun stock, and I'm gonna do just the outside and all that stuff where it'll be the board getting real close to it, because these are gonna be a different color than the rest of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stain this, but before that, I'm gonna eat me a Cliff Bar. No, still not sponsored, but maybe someday. All right, that'll work for now for what I'm doing. So now I'm gonna go ahead and make my shingle type. I don't know, I think that's what you call it. I don't know, I'm not an expert. You tell me, but let's get to it. All right, so now I got my spacers, and I'm gonna put one right here, one right here, and one right there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and get my plank here. I'm gonna do it rough side out, because why not? And you go like that, right in there, in that gap, hopefully. And then, it should leave a nice spot right there where the water hit and go off. Go ahead and screw that in. All right, and then we take the next board, and then we're gonna stick it not directly on top, but it's gonna be a little bit over. So we're gonna do that all the way up. All right, so for this last one, I had to cut a notch to fit around this piece. So I'm going to stick it up there and get the last piece in. All right, so there will be a little gap right here for now. I may even keep it for airflow so air can kind of circulate in there. So we'll find out. I might put some mesh or something, but for now, I'm gonna leave it. As you can tell, I cut them with the circular saw. It's not a big deal, it's easy to do. Just get it up in there. This is why I went ahead and pre-stained everything, because trying to go around this, it's a nightmare. So what you're gonna do is get these self-drilling roof screws. I got 1 inch. They have the little washers on it, or the, I don't know, I guess it's a washer, but it's kind of like the foam ones. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way around and screw it in with this 5/16 bit. And then when doing this, just because it's a goat shelter doesn't mean it can't look good. So try to keep them in line. So if you put it here, go all the way across and put the other one there. That way it looks more appealing to the eye. Even though it's goats, you still want it to look good. It's in your yard, right? All right, so that one's done. And the reason I did it this way and not the other way, where the wood was on this side and kind of blocked it. So if a predator comes and they're trying to push, it's up against the wood. I'm not worried about the goats on the inside pushing it out. I'm worried about animals trying to push it in. So this way, they're pushing against the wood and it's gonna hold it. So I'm gonna do this one and then I'll show you what this side looks like finished. All right, so this is what it's looking like. It's looking really cool. I like it. It's rustic, it's modern. I'm gonna go ahead and stain that up there. Kind of a, I think it's an oak color. Golden oak, and I'm hoping it'll just give it just a little bit of a golden color, and it'll give it a nice natural cedar look between that and the red, the gunstock. I'm really liking it. I think it's super rustic, it's modern, it's cool. This is kind of the way I'm going to be building my outdoor shower area whenever I get to that, but for now the goats are going to be living in style. So I'm going to stain that and I'm going to show you, and then I got to work on the rest of it, then the roof. This stain came out a little darker than I thought, a little more brown. I like it. It's just not exactly what I was going for, but I do like it. So sometimes when things mess up, it still works out. So that looks super rustic. I think it looks great. It's a nice, modern, but sleek looking rustic goat shelter. So I really need to keep working around the outside, but I'll show you what the inside looks like real quick. So this is kind of what the inside looks like. Of course, I'll stain it and everything on the inside as well. I might just stain it all the same color on the inside. I'm not 100% sure in the moment. But I need to finish the other 3 sides so I can put the roof on. But for now, it's looking really, really cool. I like it. I'm happy. I just finished the walls, as you can tell. Went all the way around. And I got the tin all the way. I kind of not running that tree anymore, but you can see it is off the ground. Like I said, I'm gonna have to block it up and put some rocks under, but it looks really good. I need to stain the top of it right there, and then back here in the back. But I got the wood and tin all the way around, and I really like this color way more than I expected. Way better than what it looks like on the inside. So the inside's a little bit lighter because the board is smooth, and then the rough cut was on the outside. So I'm kind of really glad that I did it this way. So the only thing left right now is I need to put some more supports on top, put the tin up there, and then I might come down just a little bit right here and then put a board across on the bottom for now, because I'm eventually going to build some doors that close this off. And then what I'm thinking is I'll do a chicken run on that side of it, and then I'll have kind of over here some storage, and on the back will be a rain catchment. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the top real quick. All it is putting some more studs across and then the tin on top. So let's do that really quick. I apologize, my battery died when I was putting this up, but I didn't even realize it. I just kept working. But guys, I added a piece down their bottom because I'm gonna build doors, so I need something to make it stop and hit. Plus it holds the bottom steady. And then I built this right here, which as you can see, it holds the roof line up and it's extra support. And then it's extra support here. I put another plank in here. That way it's just a little bit stronger, but I got it all the way around. And on this side, as you can tell, it does stick over a little bit because I'm gonna add my chicken coop here. And so I'm gonna have just a little bit of hangover, and then I'll probably put some like post up with some wire and stuff to keep possums and raccoons and stuff out. But guys, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's going. I'm extremely excited with this. I just need to finish staining the front parts that I just did, and then it'll be complete for now, other than leveling out the bottom. That'd be another day. I ain't even about to do that. I'm worn out. So I'm gonna go ahead and stain that, and then that'll be the final part of the video. All right guys, so I think it's officially done for now. This whole side is dry. It's got the tin down there on the bottom. This is still drying up here, but as you can tell, I have the bottom down there secured, the top up there secured, and then you come over here, you can see up under here, the tin is held on right here and there, and then another rafter under there, if you can see that, if it's not too dark. And then I got a little bit of tin overhanging here, that way when I build my chicken side of it, it'll come over that way. And then I got the tin down there, and then around here in the back is basically the same thing. You'll just see more of where it is not very level down there on the bottom, but it goes all the way to the top. And then, yes, it is all blocked off, but I left air gaps up here on the top, so hot air rises, it'll get out. And then over here, it's nice and flush for the tin on top. So I think it came out pretty good. So guys, thanks so much for watching and subscribing. If you liked this video and you stuck around this long, I wanted to mention a channel real quick. It's Kinfolk Farm of Georgia, and this guy inspires me to be a better person every day. He doesn't even know I'm saying any of this. He doesn't know I feel this way, but he truly does. And he's just always smiling in his videos. I met him out in North Carolina when I went to a meetup a long time ago, and he didn't even know who I was. And we kind of started talking. We hit it off really well, and I did a armadillo catching contest with him a while back when I was on my family ranch, and I caught the armadillo first. But you can go back and watch that. But if you guys don't mind going and subscribing, it's Kinfolk Farm of Georgia, and I'll or maybe Farms, but I'm not sure. I'll link it down in the description. Go check him out. He's, I don't know, my parents' age or something of that nature, and he is just constantly smiling in every video. So I just wanted to do a big shout out. I hope I don't butcher this, but I'm pretty sure his name is Sean. And so I just wanted to thank you, man, and just for inspiring me. It's just, I don't know, you guys know that I'm trying to be a better person, and watching his videos always puts a smile on my face, and it just lets me know if he could be happy every day and smiling, why can't I? Why can't all of us? So that's why I want everyone to go over to his channel, and if you subscribe to his channel, please comment down below. Thank you for inspiring Jason Crocker, and hopefully he'll see that I sent you guys over, and I appreciate him so much for everything he does. But guys, this goat shelter is finished. I'm ready to bring my goats up. I know a lot of you want me to build my house, and I'm going to, but I had to build this house for my baby goats. Just had 2 baby goats. They're at Jared's house. It's my twin brother. His video, or his link is down in the description as well. It's Jared Crocker, and he just posted a video yesterday and the day before about the baby goats. So please go check that out. Those are some of my goats that are coming up here, so I had to get this finished because baby goats in the way. So guys, thanks so much for watching and subscribing. See y'all later.